In a low stance defensively, matched up with Mitchell. Fires up a three. Kelsey Mitchell!
The Indiana Fever's clash with the Connecticut Sun wasn't just another W in the column, it was a turning point. In a season marked by injuries, tough losses, and mounting pressure, this game carried a different kind of weight. Coming off back-to-back defeats to the Wings and Mystics, teams ranked below them, Indiana's playoff hopes were on life support. And as the first half unfolded, it felt like the story was already written.
It was over. The season was done.
The offense collapsed. The Sun pulled away. The scoreboard told a brutal truth. Indiana looked out of gas, flat, frustrated, and falling apart. You could feel it through the screen. Every missed shot, every sloppy turnover, every stunned face on the bench screamed the same thing: this season might be over. With 9 games left, hope was fading fast.
Sophie's sister Lindsay and her mom Paula. At WNBA, maybe you should focus less on fining players for commenting on your poor officiating and more about hiring officials that are able to call a consistent game, protect your athletes. Pathetic. Praying for you, Sophie Cunningham. And Sophie's mother, Paula. Hartley is a disgruntled player having trouble everywhere she goes. She's playing mean and plays out of control.
No excuses. No matter the odds. No matter the injuries. You show up and fight. And that's why this game hit so hard. Because Indiana had every reason to give up. Caitlin Clark, out. Sydney Colson, out. Aari McDonald, out. And then, in the middle of this must-win matchup, another gut punch. Sophie Cunningham goes down. The pain on her face said everything. Trainers rushed the floor. She couldn't even stand. This wasn't just another injury. It was serious, and it came at the worst possible time. Cunningham's family didn't hold back, going straight to social media to call out the WNBA for poor officiating and the league's failure to protect its players. The frustration was boiling over. At this point, it didn't feel like a string of bad luck. It felt cruel. Down by 21 to the worst team in the league. A loss here would have been devastating. The bench was quiet. Fans were deflated. The team looked done.
This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. That's the great thing about sports. You play to win. And I don't care if you don't have any wins. You go play to win.
But then, a spark. It started small. A Kelsey Mitchell free throw. A smooth floater. Then a three-pointer that felt like a crack of light in a dark room. Slowly, the energy shifted. The shots that had rimmed out in the first half began to fall. At the 5:37 mark, the 21-point hole was down to 14. By the end of the third, it was 11. You could feel the crowd, and the team, start to believe again. And Kelsey Mitchell, she was just getting started. Early in the fourth, she drilled a three. Then attacked the rim, knocked down free throws, and suddenly, the gap vanished. Lexi Hull found her rhythm too, burying a corner three that sent the bench into chaos. Odyssey Sims turned into a one-woman wrecking crew, slicing to the basket, drawing fouls, and hitting 9 clutch free throws. Brianna Turner, barely used in recent games, gave them gritty, plus 10 minutes without scoring a single point. Every player stepped up. By the end of regulation, 84-84.
One of your starters goes down, one of your leaders goes down. And after that, it did feel like the morale of the team was down for the first half, and they went into halftime being down 20 points. And I thought, I was on live, you guys heard it from me, I was like, okay, this game's done. Like, they just can't get out of it. The morale of the team is done. Seeing Sophie go down, like, maybe this team just doesn't have any fight left in them. And I was actually ready to give them a pass as well. I was like, you know what? It's been a hard season. And at some point, you might just have to throw in the towel and be like, you know what? We will get after it next season. It is what it is.
A tie game, overtime, and in OT, the Fever took over. Mitchell exploded, again. A layup, a deep three, another layup, then 2 more daggers from beyond the arc. She couldn't miss. The Sun, rattled and unsure, crumbled. Brianna Turner drove to the rim, drew defenders, and kicked it out to Lexi Hull for another ice-cold corner three. Swish. Game over. Final score, 99-93. The largest comeback in Indiana Fever franchise history. And yes, it was against a struggling team.
I thought, well, I wasted my day watching this game and going live for it. Then cue the end of of the third quarter, the momentum shifted and the Fever started chipping away at this enormous lead that the Connecticut Sun had on them. For the majority of the game, I would say that the lead was around 15-16 points, and they got it down to 8 points, and Kelsey Mitchell started heating.
But how they did it, that's what made it unforgettable. They battled, they believed, they didn't break. No Caitlin Clark, no Sydney Colson, no Aari McDonald, no Sophie Cunningham, and still, they found a way.
Back three-pointer, left it short. Mitchell now 0 for 4. Run out, Rivers explode.
As a matter of fact, this was the largest comeback in Indiana Fever franchise history. And it was funny because there were so many people cheering in Connecticut for the Indiana Fever when all this was happening. There was actually just so many Fever fans in Connecticut. As a matter of fact, when Marina Mabrey went on the court in the beginning of the game, they booed her. Imagine getting booed in your own.
Mitchell finished with 38 points, 34 of them in the second half and OT. Lexi Hull added 8 points and 7 rebounds, including clutch threes that shattered her shooting slump. Odyssey Sims, relentless, fearless, and vital down the stretch. Brianna Turner's hustle and defense helped flip the game. And Aaliyah Boston was a force in the paint, notching 14 points and 13 rebounds, the steady foundation every winning team needs. This wasn't just a win, it was a spark of belief. A message to the rest of the league, the Fever aren't done.
I'm so proud of you guys. I know that sometimes it sounds like just a word when we talk about being resilient. But it's not, man. It's how we live. It's how y'all live, and it's a tribute to you. It's a tribute to your connectedness, your togetherness, your toughness, your mindset. Your never give up gritty attitudes. Like, that's what it takes. That's what it takes, and we will never be counted out, because that is worth gold. That is worth gold. Kels, goddamn baby. Put us on your back.
And inside that locker room, the emotion said it all. Relief, pride. A team that's been knocked down all season finally stood tall. If they had lost, the road ahead would have looked impossible. 3 games still remain against the Lynx, one of the league's toughest finishing schedules. But now, they've got a shot. Here's the truth. Caitlin Clark doesn't come back if the season's already lost. No team risks their franchise player for meaningless games. Before tip-off, Stephanie White was cautious. Clark wasn't close to full practice, and no return date was set. But this one keeps the door open. If the Fever can hang on, if they can sneak into the playoffs, we might see Caitlin Clark back when it matters most. And if she returns, anything is possible. We've seen what she can do in big games. You know why you're watching. Because Caitlin Clark in clutch moments is must-see basketball. So here we are. One incredible comeback. A season still alive. Hope, somehow, still beating. And for Fever fans, this night will be remembered not just for the scoreboard, but for what it represented.
That's it for today's video. Like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more.